Hi, I'm Lola, and today we're going to be talking about how to use a drop spindle kit and how to make your own yarn. The first things first is that we need to put together the spindle, and the kit it comes with, it'll come with the stick, the shaft part, the whorl, and it will also come with a little hook and its own little baggie. What we're going to do is we're going to slide this on here, and we want to make sure it's snug and it's not going to fall off because it's going to be doing a lot of spinning, so we're going to want to do that. And we also need to attach this little hook, and there's already a pre-drilled hole in the top of this here, so all we have to do is just screw that in. And then something important to remember is that on the whorl there's going to be this little tiny notch right here, and this is where we're going to hold our fiber, and it'll help. So if we align it along with this hook here, that really helps when we get going. Next we need to prepare our fiber. So we have a 1 ounce braid here, so we're just going to remove the wrapper. And then if you're familiar with crochet, this is just a chain stitch, so all you have to do is find the loose end and gently pull on it to pull it apart. And from here we're going to prepare the fiber. So I'm going to split it into fourths, and I'm just going to split it lengthwise, and then I'm going to do that again right down the middle. How much you split it is up to you. It kind of impacts how thick the yarn that you're making will turn out to be. Okay, and we're going to set aside 3 of them for now. Next we're going to do something called pre-drafting the wool before we spin, and this is more for beginners. This will help so you don't have to worry so much while you're spinning, and all we're going to do is we're going to gently pull on the fiber, and you can see it's stretching out a little bit as I do so, and this just helps things go a lot smoother when you get going in the beginning. And this is putting air into the fibers, and it's just gently pulling them apart a little bit. As you get more experience, you'll be able to do this as you spin, but when you first start out, this makes things easier. And then next, there's one more trick we can do to help make things easier when we start out, and I'm just going to take a length of yarn that I already have, and I'm going to tie the ends together real quick, just like that. So it's a one big loop, and then I am going to take this to my spindle, and I'm going to pull it through a loop, kind of like this. So I'm just going to lay it like this and like this. So now we have a long strand that's attached to the bottom, and I'm going to take the end and put it through that notch and then hook it onto the hook, and now we're ready to start spinning. This is called a leader yarn, and it just helps you get going in the beginning. So I'm going to take a smaller portion of wool. It's always easier to start with the smaller portion, and then I'm going to take the end and I'm going to put it through the loop and fold it over on itself, just like this. And then if you're right-handed, your right hand is going to pinch here, and then what I'm going to do with my left hand is my left hand controls the spin and the drafting part. So I'm going to start spinning. We always want to spin to the right, and if you can watch here, you can see the twisting is starting to happen, and you can see it begin up here, which is exactly what we want to happen. So my right hand controls the amount of twist. So my right hand controls the twist. So I'm pinching the fiber, and I'm only letting the twist happen when I want it to happen. And this is where I can draft the fiber as I go. And then when it's getting too long for comfort, we're going to unhook it from the spindle, and we're just going to wrap it onto the shaft. And we hook it back on, and we keep going. So again, my right hand is controlling where the twist is, and then my left hand controls how thin I want the fiber to be, or how thick. So this is where I control the size. And you can always tell if your spindle is starting to go the wrong direction because the twist will start to come undone, kind of like this. I'm having it go to the left right now, and you can see that the twist is coming undone. And the twist is what makes yarn strong. And once we reach the end here, we can easily add on another section. So I'm grabbing another piece of wool, and I'm going to make sure the ends are both fluffy and just pinch them together. The twist and the natural wool will start to cling together and attach and keep going. And everyone's first yarn is not going to look perfect. It's going to be lumpy and bumpy, and that's part of the art of learning how to do something new, and it makes a really pretty art yarn at the end. Don't worry about breaking the wool if you pull too hard. It's pretty easy to reattach, but if you untwist it a little bit, you can fix it up on your own. Something important is that a little bit too much twist is better than not enough twist. You can also spin while you're standing or sitting. An easy way to get started to spin is to use your fingers and flick the spindle to the right. That's a pretty easy way to get it going. My favorite way is to sit down, because then I can use my legs. I can take the spindle and rest it against my thigh, and I just press it between my hand and my leg, and as I push against my leg outwards that way, then it spins it to the right and it gets it going faster with less work from my fingers. When it comes to finishing up your yarn, we want to turn it into a 2-ply, which will be stronger than just the 1-ply that it is now. And 1-ply just means 1 strand, and 2-ply is 2 strands. What a 2-ply will look like is, since there's so much twist in this yarn, it will naturally want to ply on itself. So you can test it and see what it will look like by taking a length of it and holding it in your hands and just letting it go, and it will naturally ply on itself. So this is what it would look like plied with itself. And there's several different ways to ply it. The easiest one is, if you have a short amount of wool on your spindle, is we can have a buddy come and help you, and your buddy will hold on to one end. Don't let go of it, because that will lose some of your twist, and you're going to pull it off of your spindle, and it will become a mess. Don't worry, we'll sort it out. So you're gonna have your buddy hold on to the 2 raw ends of your yarn, and what you're going to do is you're going to gently stretch it out and untangle bits that are tangled until we find the center between the 2 strands. But we're going to find the absolute center between those, and I'm going to hold on to that here, and my buddy's holding on to the other end. And what my buddy is going to do is they're going to drop their end. They're just going to let it go and just drop it, and it's going to fall. And then what you can do here is that it's starting to ply on itself, is now you can arrange it with your fingers, move it around if you want to. See, if I have like a little knob sticking up there, I can gently tease it, or it breaks, which it can do, and I usually just tie them back together again. This is practice, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It'll just make a fun yarn in the end. Then when I reach the end, I like to tie a knot just to help keep them together. So that's the one that's plying on itself with a buddy's help. There's another way to ply where we take 2 strands and ply them together, so it'll be 2 separate bundles. Now that we've finished spinning another length of our fiber, what we're going to do is we're going to ply it together with another strand that I already have prepared here. And to get it off of the spindle, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it over on itself again and let it ply just the end, and that helps hold it together. Then I'm going to finish winding it on, and I'm going to pull it off of the spindle in one big clump, just like this. Then I'm going to take both bundles, and I'm going to find the ends of them. I'm going to let them both sit in my lap, and I'm going to gently take the ends, and I'm going to tie them together. Next, I'm going to take my end and I'm going to hook it onto the hook and fold it over on itself again. And something that's super important with plying is that we always want to spin to the left instead of the right. So we want to spin to the left. So this time, as I'm going to start spinning, I'm going to go the opposite direction, and this helps the fibers line up. And plying is my absolute favorite part, because it's just when everything comes together. Once you get going, it can go pretty quickly too. And again, my left hand is controlling the 2 strands, so I'm kind of arranging them as I go, and then I'm controlling the twist with my right hand, with my fingers here where I'm pinching. And if you're going to use your leg like I am, just press the wheel towards you instead of outwards this time, and then you get it spinning to the left instead of the right. And the 2 balls can get kind of tangled. Sometimes I'll put them in Ziploc bags to help try to contain them a little bit so they're not bouncing all over the place like they are now. So we've gotten nearly to the end, and one end is much longer than the other one. So one trick I like to do is tie the 2 ends together, or just pinch them together. Tying it helps them hold together a little bit more. Then we'll just find the center between those and add a little bit more spin, and you're all done. And that's how you use a drop spindle to make your own yarn. Thanks for watching, and hope you have a lovely day.